Dolls are often seen as innocent, charming objects, and for centuries, they have been cherished by children and collectors alike. However, throughout history, there have been numerous tales of dolls that are anything but innocent. These haunted dolls have terrified those who come into contact with them, leaving a trail of strange occurrences, inexplicable phenomena, and even fear-stricken witnesses. But what is it about these dolls that makes them so eerie and unsettling? Are they simply the product of vivid imaginations, or is there something more sinister at play? In this exploration of haunted dolls, we will delve into the history, cultural significance, and eerie stories surrounding these objects. We will also explore the psychological and spiritual theories behind why certain dolls are believed to be haunted, and why they continue to fascinate and terrify people worldwide. The history of haunted dolls. Belief in haunted dolls dates back centuries, although the stories surrounding them have become more prominent in modern times due to the rise of horror media, paranormal investigations, and online sharing. However, the fascination with dolls as supernatural objects is far older. Ancient and spiritual roots. Use of dolls for spiritual or religious purposes dates back to ancient civilizations. In many cultures, dolls were believed to have a deeper connection to the spiritual realm. In ancient Egypt, dolls were often buried with the dead as a means of ensuring companionship in the afterlife. Similarly, in African and Caribbean traditions, dolls made of wood or clay were used in rituals and were believed to house spirits or act as vessels for the gods. In these contexts, dolls were viewed as sacred objects imbued with spiritual significance. They weren't considered innocent toys, but rather powerful talismans or conduits for divine forces. The idea that dolls could be inhabited by spirits or otherworldly forces has persisted throughout history, with these objects often associated with mysticism and the occult. The rise of haunted doll stories be the late 19th and early 20th centuries. As the world saw the rise of spiritualism, the concept of haunted or possessed dolls began to take root in popular culture. With the development of seances, ghost hunting, and an increasing fascination with the supernatural, stories about haunted dolls began to emerge. These dolls were often associated with ghostly encounters or malevolent spirits that seemed to take residence in the dolls themselves. One of the most famous early stories of a haunted doll involves the Robert the Doll from Key West, Florida, which has been the subject of folklore and paranormal investigation for decades. Robert was a gift given to a young boy named Eugene Otto in the early 1900s. It is said that after receiving the doll, strange things began happening around the house. Unexplained noises, objects moving, and even people seeing the doll's facial expressions change. The doll became notorious in the town, with people claiming that it was haunted by the spirit of Eugene's former nanny, who had died under mysterious circumstances. By the mid-20th century, the popularity of haunted dolls grew further with the rise of horror films and literature. The 1950s and 1960s saw the release of films such as The Devil Doll 1936 and Chucky from the Child's Play series, which cemented the association between dolls and horror. These films portrayed dolls as malevolent beings, capable of terrifying acts and even murder. However, the real-life stories of haunted dolls have always been more unsettling due to the fact that they often blur the line between myth and reality. Famous haunted dolls around the world. As we journey into the strange and eerie world of haunted dolls, let's examine some of the most famous and chilling cases of haunted dolls that have been reported throughout history. Robert the Doll, USA. Robert the Doll, one of the most famous haunted dolls in the world, resides in Key West, Florida. Standing at around 40 inches tall, Robert has a reputation for causing all kinds of strange occurrences. Eugene Otto, a young boy, was given Robert as a gift by a servant. After receiving the doll, Eugene's behavior changed, and the Otto family started noticing odd occurrences. People reported hearing footsteps, objects moving around the house, and even seeing Robert's facial expressions change. Over time, Robert became infamous in the local area, with many people claiming to have witnessed paranormal activity linked to the doll. Visitors to the museum where Robert is displayed are often warned to ask for permission to take his photograph. Many have claimed that if they do not ask permission, they experience bad luck or misfortune. Annabelle the Doll USA. Perhaps the most famous haunted doll in modern pop culture is Annabelle, who is at the center of the Conjuring franchise. Annabelle's story begins in the 1970s when a student nurse named Donna and her roommate Angie were given the doll as a gift. Shortly after, they began noticing strange behavior from the doll. It would move around their apartment, and they even found messages scrawled on parchment, which appeared to be written by an unknown entity. Donna and Angie sought the help of a psychic medium, who revealed that the doll was inhabited by a spirit named Annabelle. They later contacted Ed and Lorraine Warren, famous paranormal investigators, who took the doll into their possession and placed it in a glass case at their museum, warning that the doll was extremely dangerous. Annabelle has since become a widely recognized figure in horror culture, and her legend continues to captivate the imaginations of people around the world. The Island of the Dolls, Mexico. Deep in the canals of Xochimilco, Mexico, lies a place known as the Island of the Dolls, La Isla de las Muñecas. This small island is home to hundreds of creepy, decaying dolls hanging from trees and buildings. The island's eerie reputation began when a man named Julian Santana Barrera moved to the island and started hanging dolls to ward off evil spirits. Legend has it that Barrera discovered the body of a young girl who had drowned in the canal, and he believed that the dolls would help appease her restless spirit. Over time, the dolls began to take on a life of their own, with some visitors reporting that they would see the dolls' eyes move or hear strange sounds coming from them. Many have claimed that the dolls on the island are haunted by the spirit of the young girl, and some believe that the island itself is cursed. The Island of the Dolls has become a macabre tourist attraction, drawing curious visitors who seek to experience its supernatural phenomena firsthand. The Haunted Doll of Hanan, Japan. In the small Japanese city of Hanan, there is a doll known as Okiku, which is believed to be haunted by the spirit of a young girl. Okiku was originally purchased in the 1910s for a young girl named Ikuko, but after her death, the doll was kept by her family. Over time, the family began noticing that the doll's hair appeared to grow longer, despite being made of a synthetic material that should not have grown. Concerned, the family sought the help of a priest, who confirmed that the doll was inhabited by the spirit of their daughter. The Doll of the Mysterious Girl, England. In the town of Burgh Island, England, there is a doll known as the Mysterious Girl doll. It was reportedly found in an abandoned house, where it was believed to have been owned by a young girl who died under mysterious circumstances. The doll is said to have strange powers, with some reports claiming that it can be seen moving, changing positions when no one is around. Theories behind haunted dolls. The question remains, why do some dolls appear to be haunted while others do not? There are several psychological, spiritual, and cultural theories that attempt to explain the phenomenon of haunted dolls. The power of belief. One of the most compelling explanations for the haunting of dolls is the psychological power of belief. When individuals come into contact with dolls that have been labeled as haunted, they may be more prone to interpreting strange occurrences as supernatural. This is known as the placebo effect, where people's expectations influence their perception of events. The belief in haunted dolls can be self-reinforcing. Once people hear stories of a doll's supernatural abilities, they are more likely to interpret odd occurrences as signs of haunting. This phenomenon may explain why many haunted dolls are often reported to exhibit strange behaviors only after they have become widely known as haunted. The concept of possession. Another explanation for haunted dolls comes from spiritual and religious beliefs about possession. In many cultures, it is believed that objects, especially dolls, can become vessels for spirits. Whether it's the spirit of a deceased person, an entity seeking to cause mischief, or a malevolent force, many believe that a doll can serve as a conduit for supernatural energy. Possession may explain why some people feel a strong emotional connection to certain dolls, as if the doll itself is alive or aware of its surroundings. In the case of dolls like Robert and Annabelle, their connection to specific events, such as the death of a child or the tragic history of their owners, might explain the presence of a spirit or entity attached to the doll. Cultural and historical significance. The cultural significance of dolls also plays a role in their association with the supernatural. In many cultures, dolls are used in rituals, spiritual practices, or as offerings to deities or spirits. In these cases, the dolls are not simply seen as toys, but as powerful objects capable of connecting the living to the spirit world. When such dolls are passed down through generations, they may carry with them the energies or spirits of those who once owned them. The stories surrounding haunted dolls are as mysterious and varied as the dolls themselves. Whether the result of folklore, psychological phenomena, or the result of real supernatural forces, these haunted dolls continue to capture our imaginations and send shivers down our spines. Are they truly possessed by spirits, or is it simply the product of our own fears and superstitions? The allure of haunted dolls lies in their ability to evoke a sense of unease and wonder. They remind us of the thin veil that separates the known from the unknown, the living from the dead, and the mundane from the supernatural. The next time you come across an old doll, take a moment to wonder, could there be something more to it than meets the eye?